2 minutes to the top of the show, 2 minutes.
There's always an added sense of excitement on the nights that we do live broadcasts. Everything is fine-tuned down to the minute, so we have to be really on our toes for every single second of the night.
Oh, standing on the podium is easy. You just sit there, you wave your arms around, the magic happens. Live broadcasts are different. It makes me very nervous. If it's good for you, it's good for me.
20 seconds to build.
My name is Adam Romy, and I am the manager of digital concerts and broadcasts for the Minnesota Orchestra.
Have a great show, everyone.
We produce a live television and web series called This Is Minnesota Orchestra, which we call TIMO for short.
3, 2, 1, show go. 30 seconds to go.
Feel the power of music as it captivates and connects.
I choreograph all of the camera shots that you're going to see over the course of a 2-hour broadcast. So when you see the conductor and then you see the violins, someone has to decide that's going to happen and tell the crew to do it, and that's my job. And 5, go. And Ruth Wright in. And start moving forward, 42, 24.4. I'm originally from the Twin Cities. Go. My background is as a bassoonist. I started playing the bassoon when I was 13. I fell in love with the instrument and the range of sounds that different players had and got really serious about it. And I knew I wanted to stay close to music as long as I could. I started here in October 2019 in education and community engagement. And of course, just around the corner, everything shut down and we stopped having live events. I was tapped for an experimental live stream broadcast test. They asked me to be something called score reader because I had a musical background. Over the course of the 2021 season, our doors were closed, but we were putting out a television, web, radio broadcast every other week. That allowed the musicians and the audiences to continue to develop their relationship. They didn't have to push pause.
Good evening to all of our friends here in Minnesota, in the U.S., and around the world. Welcome to Orchestra Hall.
Those first few shows all took place in the rehearsal room for the crew, and we had these makeshift stations with clear glass shields dividing us. We went from very small groups of players with no audience to a live show with anywhere from 80 to 100 or even more players on stage with 2,000 people in the hall. Our system has had to change quite a bit in order to keep up with the artistic projects that the orchestra is putting on television and the web. Go. After the 2021 season, the crew built this state-of-the-art production studio in what had initially been 2 closets and a hallway. First, we had been using 6 cameras or so for most productions, and now we use anywhere from 8 to, I think our record is 14 or 15 for one show. Andrea took her early, and 6, go.
The other week I walked in on a rehearsal and I could not believe how much activity was going on and how they were constantly talking about prepping this camera or going to this camera. It is mind-blowing to me to think about how much attention to detail there is.
And start moving 1 and 1, go. Every show takes so much focus. We've got great people and a good system that we're fine-tuning and experimenting with all the time.
When we do the live broadcast, we are timed down to the minute and even the second, and so things need to be done on time. A lot of things happen during the concerts. It's not just one group of people on stage the whole time. There's a lot going on through all 4 of the stage doors that lead to the auditorium.
That was Sharko by Bedřich Smetana, played by the Minnesota Orchestra in a live broadcast on Your Classical NPR, Twin Cities PBS, and the orchestra's website.
Ozzy mixes for the radio and TV. I'll do an immersive mix for the web and mix front of house for the hall. Tom balances all the stems and vocals for TV and the web.
The energy of the live television is exhilarating. It's all hands on deck and everybody on their toes.
We do have rehearsals in the week prior to the concert so we can get the balances established so that way when the broadcast night comes, everything goes according to plan.
I have to like the orchestra really well in general, but I have to read their music. But the camera is less forgiving Instead of looking at it from a theatrical point of view, I need to look at it from a point of view of making sure that whenever the camera shoots something, wherever it is, and from whatever angle, that it looks good. Live TV is a lot like live theater. The stress level is a little higher, but that's kind of fun. It's just exciting.
I'm here in the library with Minnesota Orchestra Principal Librarian Maureen Conroy. And a big part of every TMO broadcast is working with Maureen to obtain the rights for the music that we are performing on that concert.
In addition to the work that we're doing in the library to get the music ready for the players on stage, we're also getting the licensing for the broadcast and stream. And that requires us going to the publishers to ask for streaming permissions, synchronization permissions, so that's synchronizing the music with the visual, broadcast permissions because of our partnership with TBT. We also need to get permissions from our guest artists and how they are going to be involved in all of this. So a lot of emails, a lot of back and forth to come to an agreement that works for everyone.
As I study the score and listen to the music over the weeks leading up to a broadcast, I'm translating the score into a visual language and then a technical language that we use to program the cameras so that we can create the show in real time. And then in set 221, can you add camera 4 on X404 waist up? I make decisions about every shot based on both how long it is and what's happening. Are we looking at one player? Are we looking at a few players? Is the shot moving? So we're looking for something that is contrasting and varied, that sticks to the character of the music and showcases the virtuosity of the players on that program. And that can add up to anywhere from 600 to 800 camera cues for any given show. I think one of the really special things about flexible camera positions is that an audience can finally see what in the past only the musicians have seen in orchestra hall. And there are moments of deep intimacy at the end of a really emotional piece where a conductor will hold the silence until they feel that the piece is kind of settled and they're really ready for applause. And in the past, the audience has sat in the hall and experienced that kind of held breath moment. And now we can see a conductor holding that moment for the orchestra as well.
Five minutes to the top of the show, 5 minutes.
Every musician on that stage has put in tens of thousands of hours into their craft, and I want to share that with an audience. And start moving 1 through 2.1 and 1. The way that we always try to match the excellence and intensity of the orchestra for each concert is something really special.
Projector on, go. And go, Bill.
Welcome to Orchestra Hall in Minneapolis to this special concert with the Minnesota Orchestra.